Howdy painters, welcome to the next lesson on torn paper, torn paper painting that we're going to be executing. Remember, this one is a torn paper of your choice, and so I'm going to do the one that was kind of on the front page or the home page of the assignment that for this one when we first doing our image search. So it's a layered one with a couple of different, you got the sky, some mountain stuff, and it gradually gets layered and layered mountains as it comes forward. And so what I've done is I've kind of organized these in layers. So this one being the top one right here, this is my furthest away layer, and then these are going to stack on top of it. So then this is just a little mountain. I didn't need the whole big piece of paper. I could have, I suppose, on stacking it. Then this one, and then this one on top of that. And then we have the next little mountain, another little piece on top of that, the big corner piece that stacks on top of that one. And then these ones are a little bit smaller on those. This one, and then this one comes over the very, very last. And then this one, the other thing that I noticed is they start out when they're deeper, further back and up top. It starts at top and it starts its very lightest value. And things gradually get darker as they come down. And so this little part down here, this was like almost a black on top of that. And then I also noticed they had some little pine tree looking things. So I rolled up this thing, so I wanted to get some good blacks for this silhouette part of it. And so these are going to be my little pine trees that I'm going to eventually put on there, and just kind of torn in those random shapes. So that's how I'm going to assemble this part. This lesson will probably have 2 videos in it. It will have the application part, which is what I'm doing now, as far as applying the paints, and then I'll have an assembly part as well. This lesson for the assembly is worth 15 points, and the image search was worth 5. So the total investment on that one is going to be 20 points for the 2 days worth of work that we're looking for, and that's kind of what we're going to be doing. Now you'll probably remember when we were doing this other one that you can saturate the paper. You just go ahead and just dump the water on it, and away we go with that on getting the water. And these were there were a lot of blues, but we can mix blues and greens and things as they happen with those. Let's see, I want a little bit of a lighter blue on those, so I don't need a lot of pigment in this one. I'm gonna have my paint just kind of over here with those, and so this one is blue. That's way light, so let's go ahead and get a little bit more pigment than that in there. There's some, as we come across. And remember, the idea of this too is that the paper gets saturated. It does some cool things. This pigment of itself is called cerulean blue, and it's light. It only goes to about a medium value on those, and so that's one of the watercolor paints I have. If you have a real dark blue on yours, something more like maybe this one, let's see if we can get a little more value in here. There we go. That one has a little bit more innate value in it, so it's just kind of coming over here. But this is a light blue. This is kind of a sky sort of a thing back there. I wonder also if we could just think about some maybe some yellows in here too, because that was kind of a good thing, right, to have a little bit of a sunset idea. And then let's also make sure that we have plenty of the blues on the sides. I think that will be a helpful deal here. Now these ripples on the paper that we're seeing starting to develop, I think that helps actually lend itself to a cloud-like sort of a feel as we get things going down, that there's these little layers of stratusy type of clouds, I guess, in there. And so let's get there. Now some of the ones that I've seen that have come across have been really heavy with the paint, and that's way cool as well. I'm going to leave it up to you. It's your painting in and of itself is going to kind of dictate what it is you're trying to create. And so this one just has a little bit of yellow in it, and a pretty good light blue. Maybe I'll get a little bit more yellow in here as we come across in there. So it does have a little bit of a sunset or sunrise quality to it. Okay, the next level I'm going to come back to is this one. And so let's glob it in with the water. And this one might curl a little bit because it's only taped on the one side, but it also might stick down fairly well. I'm not really sure what we're going to do on that one. I think that I want to have, this one is a Viridian green. On that one, it's just it's green. Okay, so that's what's going to contrast against there a little bit. And I think I saw last time it was really helpful to have extra pigment right along the edges of these things. And so I'm going to come back and just kind of dab that green right along the edge. So here's a good Viridian color. And it's fairly transparent on those. Here's another little bit of a green, more of a sap green on that one, a medium green on those. And so that's going to be pretty good for there. So this go on top of that, maybe just a hair darker. Here's one that has a little bit of blue in it. I have a little bit wider variety of paints, but the standard tray that you guys have at home is perfect too. All right, let's go on to the next one and get our bits of water, and I think Viridian as a base coat on those. And then here's this one is, I'm not sure, this is a turquoisey sort of, ooh, wow, that has some serious stuff coming in there, huh? That one is a great value, a lot of deep color. I like that one. I think that's going to work really well as we start going through there. Let me water this down so it changes. It's a little bit darker up at the top on those. Looks like we got some good absorption of that paint in there as well. This is just a little bit of blue. I'm just going to come and tap that along the edges. Remember, the first thing is to get the paint, the paper, attach it to the boards, and so then this one is ready to go dry on those. Let's go to our next value. I'm going to have this up here so I can kind of look at it and kind of see where I am with my values on those. Let's move that over just a little bit here. Okay, so let's go to the next one, big area. And these ones, were kind of monochromatic. You can go that route, or you can go a variety of different values depending on what you're doing, and different colors, I should say, with those. I think I'm going to hit this one. I'm going to start out right with this medium green as we're coming across instead of the Viridian. The Viridian, like I said, it was a little bit thin, a little bit more transparent. On this one. This one has more of an opaque quality to it. As such, you can see it a little bit more on there. Probably only about this much of it is going to show on that. The stuff down here is probably going to be covered up by some of this other stuff. But I don't really remember for sure, so we're going to color the whole thing in with that and put a little bit of this green on this one. I am going to come back with that turquoise as well because it has some great things happening with that, but maybe a mixture of these two. If I have a really solid bit of the medium green in there, here's some of that turquoise can kind of come into here as it goes and spreads on that, and so we get a little bit of more variety of color in this one. I'm going to rinse this out a little bit, dab my brush on a paper towel so it's a little bit cleaner. Now I'm going to come back in here and maybe get some of these things so that those two colors can mix on that one. You could do greens and blues in your own paint set. You can get the same sort of an effect if that's the route you're looking to go for. That would be stupendous on those. That's cool. I wonder if you just had a little bit more of that turquoisey color right up in there. Break that up a little bit. Okay, what do you guys think? Okay. Couldn't hear you on that one. That's okay. I didn't expect to. All right, next one. This one is another little bit of a layer here. If I use a lot of water on it, it kind of sticks it to the base. Interesting, I have some watercolor here. I'm wondering if that purple is going to come through as we start to do that one. And let's go green. Let's go turquoise. A little more heavier on the turquoise on this one. I think. Yeah, okay. Now let's go back down to this guy here and get my water. Application. I've been thinking about, we may do another torn paper one. I don't know, this technique works fairly well with any type of paper. That's one of the big advantages. That's why I kind of selected it as an idea to do, remembering from some other paintings that I've had my students work on. I mean, it's a pretty solid technique on that. Okay, let's put a little bit of greenish, bluish. The brush still had a lot of turquoise left in it when I stabbed it into the green here. But I did want to have some of that base. Now I gotta go darker on this one. So this one I'm really going to hit with the turquoise as we come across. I wanted, because we're getting closer to the bottom, right? I think I only have maybe one more layer after this one, and so if I wanted it to get darker as we come closer to us. That darkness is going to be more in focus, a little bit more intense with those, and so I can have a grander or a greater amount of paint in there. I wonder also, now that I have that going on that one, maybe we do this as well. Maybe with this one, this is just a little bit of brown in there that we can put in with it, so it's changing slightly the colors as we come closer as well. And so we put in a little bit of brown mixing with that turquoise color. Naturally on yours as well, you have a brown in your set. You can put that in there so it's changing colors. Now you may not be doing this one, you know, you're not doing the same one I'm doing, so maybe you don't need a brown in there. Maybe you're doing a scene that has more of a desert scene or something on it with those, and so that's kind of a cool deal. All right, final layers as we get going here. This one, let's get. I had to cut up some more boxes to get the room. I just had the two pieces, and lo and behold, I had more than 2 pieces. So you might be cutting up more boxes as well to try and get some supports to hold these pieces down as you finish them off there. Well, that's saturated pretty swell, huh? Okay. This one I'm going straight for the throat. I'm going Viridian, or not Viridian, turquoise. Just straight right in there. No messing around. Saying this is dark, the darkest blue there is, the closest to us with those. Let's dab a little bit along the edge too, so we can get some separation between it and the one that's going to be directly behind it. Straight Viridian, or not Viridian. I love the sound of Viridian. I want to say this is turquoise with those. Awesome. And that was so cool that I was thinking to myself, what if you had just some blues on that? So when it's changing here, we're not just having turquoise in there. Remember, I've talked about how a lot of times you need to have an additional color in there, and so now I'm going back with the blue on that one. So that's cool. All right, now comes my little end pieces over here. These guys got to be black. And so here's what I think. I'm going to do this a little bit different. Since I know this one needs to be a dark color, I'm going to mix up this black right here that I have going, and I'm going straight for pigment. You know, I talked about in some stuff dry brush, right? Dry brush, which most of this assignment was not a dry brush assignment. Most of this assignment was let's get something soupy and goopy in there, and then we'll take that soupy and goopy stuff and work it that way. But this part needs to be so dark, I'm not worried about soupy and goopy. I want, with that one, I want it a little bit more heavier of a concentration of the black, because it's the closest part to us, and it's almost a silhouette with those. And so if I just go here with as dark as I can, right from the get-go without getting the paper wet, I think it will absorb more of the paint on those. So that's sweet. Okay, this is an experiment, folks. Let's see how this does. So this, I needed something to hold on to those little pieces of the pine trees, and I needed them to be dark, dark, dark. But I still wanted them to be a torn paper part of it. And so I was thinking, what can I do to hold these things in place? And I know what I'll do. I'll take and I'll just do that little backwards wraparound thing for the tape, and then just tape it right on there and see what happens. And then we'll use the glue to glue it down. The glue sticks on that one. Well, that came out pretty dark. That looks pretty dark. I'm looking compared to this one. This one is going to go on top of this one. And so this should be just a little bit darker than that. I'm going to go just another coat here. And another coat. Just to make that a dark silhouette. Okay. That, for my part, for this first part, I think that is all that we need to do on this particular part of this assignment. Now we can go on for maybe 16 to minutes, 17 minutes, something like that on our demo. So that's about how long it took me to do this part. Remember, this assignment where we're turning it, this is worth more points than just the application. So this is step one of part two, I guess, of what we're looking for with the preparing for stacking the paper. Now I gotta let this stuff dry, and I think we'll be set. And then I'll do another video on just how adding and stacking together. So it puts together. That one will be shorter than this one, but that's what I have for my choice, torn paper of my choice. Thanks.